If you've been struggling on controller and want to get better at editing, this video is perfect for you. I'll be showing you 5 secret tips and tricks in order to make your editing look just like this. Oh, I'm so consistent right now. Now before we get into all the steps that's going to help you edit faster on controller, make sure you guys are using my supporter creator code Dropz in the Fortnite item shop. Now let's get started with step 1, and this is going to be one of the most important ways to improve on controller, and that's going to be your controller settings. Now if we scroll all the way to the end and go to controller mapping, we can go to this edit section. Now listen closely because this tip will literally double your edit speed. As you can see here, I have a different confirm and also edit bind. To give you guys an example on how I edit, as you can see here, this is my scuff controller, and I have my edit bind set to L3 while my confirm is set to R1. So whenever I go to edit, I have both my fingers set on each bind and I click down. So that is what you call a double edit bind. Now if you're on a single edit bind, that means you have the same confirm and also the same edit. And a lot of guys may be thinking you're editing fast because you're on a single edit bind and you also have auto confirm edits on, but the truth is that's still much slower than having a double edit bind with auto confirm edits off. And ever since changing my edit bind to left stick, it has allowed me to win so many more fights. This is because I never had to take my finger off the joystick and I have full control when I'm editing. So if you've been stuck on one edit bind, it's time to finally change and go on to a different confirm and also edit. Now for step 2, and that we have our edit bind situated, it's time to finally practice. One of the best maps that has allowed me to edit quick is this Raider Impossible edit practice map. This map features a ton of different edit courses that is going to allow you to practice your binds. And I know what you may be thinking, you're like, Dropz, how do I do any of these edit courses? They look so hard. They have a bunch of different edit options that go from easy, medium, and also hard difficulty. And even if you just switch binds, there's simple edits just like this double edit here. And don't think that you'll be perfect off the bat because you will mess up a lot of these edits. But that's completely normal because as long as you're practicing, you will see progress. So don't be ashamed to just keep on practicing all these different edit courses. You'll be seeing progress within the first day or even first hour. You'll even notice practicing all these edits that you will get better crosshair placement. And when you get better crosshair placement, that allows you to make your edits more efficiently and also quicker. Not only that, but you'll be able to build so much more muscle memory. And now for step 3, this is going to make your edits look a lot smoother, and that's finding a good controller dead zone. If we go onto my settings here and we go all the way to my controller sensitivity, my dead zone is currently set to 8.8. Now if you're wondering why your dead zone is important, if you have your dead zone set too high, you won't be able to move as much, but if you have your dead zone set too low, then you may cause some stick drift. And if it's too high, then you'll be very stiff and you won't be able to hit any of your edits. And if it's too low, that means you're going to have stick drift, which is not going to allow you to have control over any of your movement. As an example, I'm going to be going to my controller dead zone and I'm going to be setting both of the sticks to 30-30. I'll be comparing having a high dead zone versus a low dead zone. Alright, now that I set both of them to 30-30, I'm going to try to free build, and just look at this. My movement is already terrible and I have to flick my joystick so much because my dead zone is so high. Since my dead zone is super high, I already look so much stiffer and it's so hard for me to hit any of these edits. I've been trying to get used to this dead zone, but it's honestly so terrible. I never want to play on this again. So let's go back to my normal dead zone and see how smooth my builds are. Having set my dead zone so high made me realize that it's so important for editing. Alright, so let's change this 30% both to 8% now. I know this is going to be a lot smoother. Just look at this, bro. It's already such a crazy difference. This dead zone makes me look a lot smoother and I can hit all my edits consistently. This is why I recommend having a dead zone from around 7 to 9%. Also, having a good dead zone allows you to have better crosshair placement. With better crosshair placement, it allows you to minimize your edits. When editing, you want to minimize how many tiles you edit. As you can see here, I have to drag 2 tiles instead. It makes it a lot harder. But when editing only 1 tile, it makes it so much easier. Now for step 4, and arguably one of the most important steps in this video, is learning how to play claw or paddles. Now I'll be breaking down step by step on how to play claw and also what are paddles. Now all of the pro controller players or fast editors on controller either play claw or paddles. Now first I'm going to break down how to play claw. As you can see on the screen, this is my scuff controller and this controller actually comes with paddles. But I don't use paddles, so I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play claw. As you can see, here's my L2 button and my R2 button, and both of my middle fingers rest on it just like this. This is for my L2 and this is for my R2. Both of these fingers are always resting on the controller. Now this is my L1 button and this is my R1 button. For my L1 button, I'll always rest my left pointer finger just like this, and for my R1 button, I'll always rest my right pointer finger just like this. So for claw, that's how I rest my fingers on all the triggers. Now for claw, it's not that easy because you have to use your pointer fingers to click all of the face buttons. For example, since my switch mode on Fortnite is triangle, I take my right pointer finger off of R1 onto triangle just like this. And since my pickaxe in Fortnite is my left D-pad, I take my left pointer finger off of L1 and put it onto my D-pad just like this. Now claw is very important because in FPS games just like Fortnite, you're constantly moving and aiming. So you never really want to take your fingers off of the joysticks, and that's what helps claw players so much. So when I'm playing claw, I always have full control over my left stick and my right stick. Just take a look at all the pressure I have fighting these players, and I still have control over my joystick, as you can see in the top left hand cam. If you don't play claw yet, I'll 100% recommend giving it a try, because I know a lot of you guys may play non-claw and that's holding you guys back so much from your full potential. Now claw is not the only option because there are back attachments like paddles. Now I'll be showing you guys how paddles work and how they benefit you. As I stated before, my controller has paddles, but I don't actually use them. And here are actually all 4 of the paddles that can be attached to the back of this controller. As you can see here, they're super easy to set up and you can just slide them right in. These back buttons allow you to remap it to any bind. So if you play non-claw and you jump with X, you can use one of these back paddles as your jump bind. And since you naturally grip the back of your controller, it'll make it so much easier to jump. As you can see, I have my paddles on the back of this controller and I set my jump bind to this left paddle. So now whenever I want to jump, I still have full control of literally everything on my controller, and I can still click this back bind. So paddles pretty much makes everything so much easier. And you're able to get these controllers on the Scuf website, and this will be linked down below in the description. As you can see here, if you click on a website, this is where I customize all of my controllers. These controllers allow you to have adaptive triggers, which is literally a mouse click. You can customize so many things such as the faceplate, the colors around the rings, and also the triggers. The options are literally endless for this controller. You can customize it however you want, and as you can see here, you can see the 4 paddles on the back of this controller. These controllers may be a bit on the pricey side, but if you're willing to pay the price and also have an advantage on controller, you should give this a go. Step 5 would literally just be being consistent and practicing as much as you can. Follow all these steps and implement it all into your game. You can't expect to get better just trying like once a week. There's also one secret tip that I have in this map that's going to allow you to practice even more. This 1v1 map has a lot of cool features, but the most important is the slow motion. When you're on slow motion, you can literally do almost any edit that you can't do in normal speed. If you would like to improve your crosshair placement, go in slow motion and practice all these edits. This will literally help you so much because you have so much time in order to practice everything. Whenever I can't hit a certain edit, I make sure to go into slow motion first and practice it. That'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you guys have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section.